Welcome to Unpack Radio, where we unpack the issue. And tonight is for the real villains. We gonna change the culture up in this joint. Because everybody expect the nerd to look like little Poindexter from around the way. And you're gonna take my lunch tray and smack my glasses off my face. But I think we're gonna change the game up in this piece today. Because we got some certified almost heroes and almost villains. You know what I mean? Today is gonna be a beef though, because I got right beside me. Batman. And I got with me my man DJ Smoke.
What's up, baby?
Hey, DJ Smoke. Before we start this thing, who's your favorite hero?
It's a battle between Superman and Batman, honestly.
Oh my God, white man and white man. Jesus Christ.
It's a battle. No, because they both got different powers. So it's like
no Static Shock. No Icon.
Not no Static Shock.
No Falcon.
Why Batman and why the toss up? Like, what is it?
Well, because
that you like, and then why can't you decide on
Superman? I like it. He can fly, and and Batman can too.
Well, we got a certified TikTok star on the line.
Okay, that's right.
He don't like Batman.
He better not
don't like Batman.
He don't like Batman.
And I like the.
He said Batman. He said Batman OP. So let's pull this thing up. It's nerd talk, baby. It's nerd talk.
We're not doing this tonight.
It's nerd talk.
Hi, Shango. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're great.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
How y'all doing tonight?
Before we start this thing, let's get into your background. What got you into the world of comics?
So, and y'all got to forgive me, I'm actually trying to connect y'all to my laptop while doing this at the same time on my phone. So if you see me flip out, that might be the case. My dad was one of the biggest influences of my life, and he, how can I put it, subconsciously and maybe intentionally put me into things that made me love comic books and sci-fi and eventually anime, but that was more my own doing more than anything else. Where it really started at, if a lot of y'all remember the old 90s cartoon shows and stuff, like when my dad would sit there and watch me and things like that while my mom was at work. He worked nights, my mom worked mornings, and he literally would sit there and we would watch the old Fantastic Four cartoon shows, the old Iron Man, the old Spider-Man, the old X-Men. And even though I'm not a big fan of Batman, I even watched the old Batman animated series, which I felt was like they never did a Batman cartoon show better than that.
Well, I'm not gonna lead to the beef quite yet, because it's going to get deep. It's going to get deep. But who's your favorite hero and why?
Black Panther. I've been a Black Panther fan since 94. 94 and so on and so forth. And how that actually happened was, again, my dad, he made sure that I watched this one particular episode of the Fantastic Four. And in this particular episode, T'Challa, who was voiced by Keith Davis, the same dude that voiced Spawn and Goliath, he came into the Baxter building, drop kicks the thing, steals their jet, and tells them to come to Wakanda to get it back. They come there, they get beat up for a 2-part episode, and then it's revealed that he's a black king that's phenomenally rich, smart, and he just ran a fade on the Fantastic Four. At that point, seeing a brother do that in a comic book world where we were far and few in between in comparison to what we have now, I was like, I don't see why we should like anybody else but this guy. Like, we got a brother doing this. Like,
well, the reason I had this podcast today, as you can see, the room is very melanated. And the reason I had this particular conversation is because, and here we unpack the real issue. And unfortunately, in the comic book world, you don't get to see us too often.
Nah.
And unfortunately, in the comic book world, you don't get to see people who look like us talk about it too often. And especially people who are actually fairly good looking and in good condition.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's one good. That's one thing I admire about the whole panel that we got going on, and we can have an open and honest conversation about what do we need in the world of comics and how can it best represent everyone. Hey, this is Unpacked.
What are your thoughts, Shingo? How do we make it a little more inclusive of us?
Let's see. Was I able to connect? Come on. Was I able to connect? Yes. There I am.
That's not that man fan because we don't have technical issues.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh, see, goddamn
How about you,
robots.
Smoke? What do you think we need to make it a little more inclusive of us?
Well, oh, there you go. He's back.
Well, there are other companies right now, like I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called Black Sands. We have Black folks who are tired of waiting to be for a place at the table, so we made our own table. One of the things that has been plaguing us for a long time, and this is what happened with Milestones Comics, was that they had the representation. It was for us. It was made by us, for us in mind. And lo and behold, it just didn't pop off because back then, there was no social media to promote anything else like that. But now we have these outlets where it's like, it's I don't want to call it the Wild Wild West, but it's a free for all. You don't really have to sit here and wait for a bigger name company. Even though I'm a huge Marvel fan, I got a Venom shirt on right now, or DC to be like, yeah, we like your comic, come on in. You can now, with the right investors, with the right people backing you and the right platform, you can literally build your own and go from there. Because everybody, all these other big name comic companies started somewhere. They didn't start off like somebody woke up one day and was like, let's make comic books. It was like, no, it started off in some guy's garage and it went from there. So it's just that we're now at the point where we have Netflix, we have Hulu, we have our phones in general. I got a buddy of mine who showed me this recently that they're like people who make their own fan-made manga and anime, and they have like almost thousands of million people reading it. So at that point, it's like you don't really need the bigger companies anymore. You just need to get your platform out there and push forward.
I like that. Smoke, why do you think we have an issue with the world of mainstream media showing more positive images of all cultures in the world of comics?
Well, basically, it's on technology. You gotta understand everything has changed since back in the day. Like you said, we used to read comic books. Now you can get an auto book. Why not get all the books of comics? I would listen to it. You see what I'm saying? But do we have a platform for that?
You
So I think that comic books aren't readily accepted amongst us, right? So we want more inclusivity on a larger platform. We as Black people have to be more welcoming and more inclusive. I remember when I was the nerd girl and nobody wanted to talk to me. And I got how many groups because I was just in there flirting with boys. I didn't really like Batman. I was just in there trying to get guys to talk to me. Like I need to talk about Batman and get guys to talk to me, right? Like right. I created my own group because I got put out a couple groups being called out for pretending to like Batman. So I think we're still in a place where we as Black people don't really accept it, even though it's so Marvel's like everywhere now. So it's definitely gotten a little easier. But on Thursday night when I am at the Marvel premiere, it's not a whole lot of us in the theater realistically.
So going off with that,
creeping in from the sidelines. Yeah, we gotta block stuff out, baby. The reason why I embrace the villains, to be honest, when I was growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, y'all know I'm old. You know what I mean? Y'all know I'm real old. The only person who kind of sort of looked like me, that was kind of sort of close, to be honest, was Destro, because they couldn't really get the gold right. So he kind of had like a brownish hue to him when I was growing up. But that's why I kind of love the villains, because they were so misunderstood that they were fighting the heroes who didn't look like me at that time in the late 70s, early 80s, and some of the 90s. So that's why I always embrace the villains. And we got a good friend of mine coming in. I ain't gonna give out his last name. I'm letting him give out his own shout outs, because we don't give out government names unless we want to on this joint. But what was your first comic that you fell in love with, and why do you like comics?
Well, first of all, I had to,
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
But I'm 33. My first introduction to comics was the cartoons. Actually, I didn't own a comic. I still never owned a comic. So it was the X-Men cartoon, and it was the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon.
Yep.
So, and especially now that YouTube is a real big thing.
Right.
You can go look up almost anything.
Yeah.
So it would make me go back and look up, how things played out in the comic books, how they related to the cartoons. Excuse me. And definitely now that technology has caught up to movie making, how they're doing these things in live action. So it's real interesting to see from that perspective.
Hey, my next question for the panel, and we're gonna let the guest star first. Why do you think it's so hard for the comic book world to accept all cultures as a money-making idea now? We had the Black Panther thing, and they made a lot of money, but it took so long between Blade and Black Panther.
So I spoke on this recently online, and it's an old Hollywood mind state, because it's for so long we have been stereotyped in movies and TV shows to be either a slave movie, athletic, music, or gangsters, right? So to see anything beyond that, like, honestly, somebody was asking me before, why is DC Comics taking so long to catch up? And it's because, and y'all might get mad at me for saying this, it's because they oversaturated their own market with Batman and Superman, that it's hard to even talk about some of the other characters because they haven't given them their own limelight over the years. And this comes from this Hollywood mindset of like almost saying white is right. Like, this is something that a white community is going to accept, so on and so forth. I have like a lot of friends who are in the comics that are like Caucasian and Hispanic, and their favorite characters are like Luke Cage, War Machine, Black Panther, John Stewart, Green Lantern, Steel. They're like they like the black characters. So the one thing that Black Panther did, and then it followed up with the Luke Cage in season 1 and season 2 on Netflix, and then Miles and Into the Spideyverse, was that it kind of defeated that trope. Not defeat, but it kind of really made everybody question Hollywood. Like, so all these years of you saying that black people can only be portrayed in a certain way, how did these movies make so much money? How did this become like a most watched series on Netflix? How did this sell so much merchandise? But the face on it is a black man. So you told us for years that this isn't going to work, but it did. So everything started to get really contradictory in that. And Marvel has always had, they're not the greatest. They're good at it, but they're not the best. They're far from the best, and they need a lot more work at it. They've always had some form of representation in there. Like the X-Men were heavily influenced by the civil rights movement. And this is why so many people to this day that like my brothers, it's hard for us to say like we don't like Magneto. It's like, nah, like Magneto had a lot of good points. If you really want to sit down and listen to what the dude was saying, he had very good reason to be pissed off at them people, like putting them in camps, neutering them. Like, no, like he had very good reason to be pissed at the government. Like that's very mirroring. One of my favorite comics that I wish they actually do into a movie is the story of Isaiah Bradley, which was the Black Captain America that was literally inspired by the effects of the Tuskegee experiment. So it's there, and they have the stories already there. But to ask Hollywood to go ahead and do this, I think what the biggest change was, Hollywood did not expect social media, is the best way I can say it. Because for the longest time, Hollywood always said the movies will tell you what's right. The movies will tell you what's going on in the world. The movies and TV shows. But then we got social media telling you, no, we don't want to see that. Like with this, and rest his soul, one of the best things I think Chadwick Boseman did was when he turned down a role for a slave film, he's like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and be chucking and jiving individual. I'll be Thurgood Marshall. I'll be Jackie Robinson. I'll be James Brown. I'll be T'Challa, King of Wakanda. I'll do something uplifting, but I'm not about to sit up here, even though some of these characters have flaws. I'm not going to sit up here and do a slave film. And it was the young sister that did Thor Ragnarok. She was with him, and when he's walked out, she was like, I'm going with him because he's right. I'm not doing this either. So, and then you have this large outcry now from the Black community, literally saying we're tired of slave films. Like, y'all don't make no more of them. We over it. We done seen it. We done learned it. We get it. We suffered. We're done. Can y'all come up with something else? And now Hollywood scratching their heads like, wait, so y'all want to be in sci-fi films? Y'all want to be in? Yes, we do. Like, who didn't like Morpheus in the Matrix?
Well, y'all know I'm old. I gotta go back to the day. Shout out to Billy D. Williams.
There you go.
Original OG. The original OG. The original OG.
It's like my father used to always say, we all thought Darth Vader was black until the second movie.
I did. Honestly, I did.
When I heard James Earl Jones, I was just like, so he ain't black? Are you sure? Okay, I guess. Oh, and even to go off, because you had that Bane mask on, they whitewash characters a lot. Like, Bane is actually supposed to be South American. I think he's supposed to be Mexican. Like that mask he originally wore was actually inspired by a luchador. So Bane is supposed to be a person of color, but every time we got him in live action, even though like Tom Hardy's my man. Again, I got Venom on right now. And I'm not mad at the role he did for Bane. I loved him in the Dark Knight Rises, but Bane is supposed to be a Hispanic individual. And as much as I'm a blurred or a black nerd, as they call it, I know how hard it is for us to get out there. The other races are struggling, like Asians, Hispanic, Native American. It's like they get absolutely no love. Like Shang-Chi was probably the best thing for like an Asian comic book character they had in a long time that was made by the United States. So it is that whole thing. Like we have characters that are already there, and out of nowhere, once it comes time for them to be put on the big screen, they're like, we're going to do something a little different here and just change their race. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, what makes that a great idea? And Marvel, they're not to say it's the best solution, not to say I'm mad at it, is that their solution is like, this movie's filled with white people. Okay, we're going to change him. He's white in the comics. No, he's black now. Like Samuel Jackson is Nick Fury. Like there's a whole story behind like how he tricked Marvel into making sure that he kept that role because they did something stupid.
Now that is a good point. I remember when Marvel like made a bunch of heroes different ethnic, like they went from like a woman character, Thor became a woman, Spider-Man became this. Everybody became somebody who they originally was. And when they had all this good material that's sitting there waiting in their hands, you have Deadpool. Last I checked, he's pansexual. You could have used him and that's pushed that out there, but they always want to cater to something new. So how do y'all feel about that on the panel?
I think that there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And I'll give you two examples. Michael B. Jordan is doing a black Spider-Man.
You talking about
black Superman?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
How you feel about it?
Call me when y'all ready to make icon. Call me when y'all ready to make icon.
Then we're going to basically make Clark Kent black and retell that story as a black
He
man.
actually should be black, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know the
Black.
science behind it. You know what I mean? He very well should be black. But there is a story with a black Superman who's a totally different character, has his own backstory. And if you
On a
want to
whole
bring
nother
that
earth.
story to the film, bring that story to live action, I'm all cool with that. But, you don't need to, just throw a Dr. Hugh on Superman.
That's why I said, to be
on Clark
honest,
Kent.
I'm good because they want to change the Clark Kent character to a black man. Like you have Icon sitting there waiting on you, who's on the same power level of Superman and got the coolest sidekick in the world, Rocket. But no, we gonna annoy all that shit and give you this rolled up Superman and
It's lazy.
paint him with some black paint and call it a day.
So from what I've been researching about that Michael B. Jordan film, I don't think it's supposed to be Clark. I think they are going to go the route of the one you already spoke. What is his name? Val Zod? I think it is.
Yeah.
So apparently this Superman is not even supposed to even, he comes from a different universe altogether. So Val Zod is supposed to be the one they're going to be doing because DC don't know what they're going to do with their Superman with Henry Cavill. They fired him, but they want him back. But he's like, I'm doing The Witcher because y'all screwed me over. So there's that whole thing. So now they're trying to go that route. and Michael B. Jordan is trying to get them to do a live action Static Shock. So they have it there, and hopefully if Static does good, which it should, then they can go to more milestone comic characters such as Icon, and just move from there. Then there were some characters I felt that should have been, like we talked about Superman, should have been black a long time ago, like Black Adam. Like when everybody used to say, yeah, Black Adam's white. I'm like, Black Adam is a pharaoh of Egypt. How did you fix your lips to say that as a white? Like, how did we get here? So it's stuff like that where we know for a fact it's supposed to be a certain race of people, and they never give it the justice it's supposed to be done. And this is where like things can get extremely complicated. I would say the one thing that Marvel does that I always find funny is that they'll change a white character, like like how Nick Fury got it was that somebody drew a black Nick Fury in an alternate universe that looked, he literally said he based it off Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson was like, you're not about to use my features and get money off of it without me getting a check. So instead of getting sued, Marvel said the day we ever do a live action anything, you will play Nick Fury and nobody else until the day you die. He's like, that's fine. And then when Iron Man 1 happened, Sam was right there. That like Sam was like, no, you ain't about to use my features and not give me a check. Like,
What do you think?
There you go. Put smoke in the hot seat.
Y'all really put me in the hot seat like that? Well, I mean, I agree. I agree with what he said. I mean, it's sloppy right now. You know, it's a money thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's a they looking at it like, actually, I've been looking at a lot of different comments on Netflix, and really the hottest shows on Netflix is the black ones.
Mm-hmm.
I like Black Lightning, and I like Luke Cage. But guess what happened to those? They canceled them. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works?
But somehow
We
Legends
always
of
get
Tomorrow
canceled.
managed to fucking survive.
Yeah.
For all those who don't watch the
Yeah,
CW,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just like, I don't know how Legends. I gave up on Legends of Tomorrow.
I don't know how the Flash still going. That's the one I'm really upset about. I'm like, y'all canceled Black Lightning, but y'all kept Flash.
Right. Like Black Lightning is way better than Flash.
I'm hanging on by a thread to Flash, and he just now did something stupid and threw Lightning at Black Lightning. And everybody like, why would you throw Lightning at Black Lightning? He caught the joint, spent it, and said, you can keep this.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Goddamn.
It's it is the black dollar, and this is something that I actually spoke about. Was like, you know, Black Panther was such a successful film, and the merchandise that came from it, and the turnout that everybody saw. Like, I remember in spoilers if you haven't seen it, but you should have at this point. When Endgame happened, and the first person to walk through the portal was T'Challa, the theater I was in was so loud that we didn't care what happened the rest of I know I didn't care who died after that point. I was like, shit, T'Challa here. All y'all can die for all I care. Like, Tony dead, oh, boo-hoo. Wakanda's back. Y'all be all right. Y'all be all right. Tony left y'all some money. Y'all be good. So it was like, and even though I am happy to see this, as for the comic book side of me loves it, the black man side of me is like, I know what y'all doing. Like, and literally Marvel's not going to sacrifice that black dollar for anything else. They're going to hold on to it. And DC sold the dollar size that came from it, because DC had Static, which was a award-winning 4-season cartoon show, and they canceled it because they said, oh, it didn't sell any merchandise. Okay, cool. So now they're bringing Milestone. They just say that this year, at the beginning of next year, they're going to restart Milestone Comics to push their stuff and try to do more stuff with that. I'm like, I bet y'all are, because Marvel been taking the black bag for a minute now between all these other, like, between the Miles cartoon show, the video games, Black Panther, Luke Cage, Storm, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, having Sam Wilson be Captain America. Like, yeah, y'all have had the same rinse and repeat over and over again, and you're really denying your fans, because DC has some great black superheroes that really should have been put into live action presentations a long time ago, and now they're trying, like, okay, we gotta figure this out. We gotta, like, push this now, because we taking the L. Like, I said the last good DC film to me was Suicide Squad with Idris Elba. I thought that was great. Like, I thought that was amazing.
Come on,
And
part two.
No, that's just Suicide Squad, bro. There's no part twos. Don't be like my wife and be like that's a part two.
No, they had two of them.
No,
they had two of them.
yes.
Oh,
That first one lives in the alternate universe
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Wow. Damn. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was like, God damn.
I got a question for everybody.
Mhm.
I'm gonna put everybody on the hot seat. I'm gonna start here, go here, and I'm gonna smoke, and I'm gonna guess last, and I'm gonna probably go last. What are your favorite 3 superhero films starring a black person? Go. Quick. It's only 8 of them.
I was gonna say, you know,
We
I
really,
got my 3.
we all gonna say the same thing.
Mhm.
Your top 3 might be different. Going Blade, that's good solid choice.
I'm going medium man.
You going medium man? Okay, I give you that.
Dark Horse number 2. You gotta go Black Panther number 1. Not just a cultural phenomenon, but a worldwide phenomenon.
Batman.
I'm definitely gonna start with Black Panther. Number 2 for me would be Blade. Starring, I think I want to stop there.
Oh,
Those
wow.
are
Okay.
the only 2 I really, I
Smoke.
would keep watching.
Of
Those
course.
are the God tier too.
They are.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther is always gonna be number 1. Then you got Blade, and then I like Luke Cage.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the guest last. I'm giving you mine. I know y'all not gonna approve of this list, but
Oh,
hey,
gosh.
it's my list. You know what I mean? Hancock,
Oh my god.
because at the end of the day, he was such an asshole. Hancock
Hey,
was.
you know what? I forgot about.
Hey
him.
man,
I was thinking about that one too. And I was wondering if one of y'all was gonna say it.
I forgot about.
This is what I
Hancock.
do, Smoke.
I forgot about.
I will give you Blade and I will give you Spawn, the animated series, as
Okay.
my top 3.
Wait, I thought we were restricting this to movies.
Hey man,
Are we not
I'm not going with the Spawn. The Spawn movie never happened. Shout out to Michael J. White, but that was a weak ass movie. I'm sorry.
So I want to go with Black Panther, obviously, as he's one of my favorites. Blade 2, because I felt that one was just like the gutter of the gutter. And the curveball here, because you said it had to star a black person as the main character, Into the Spideyverse.
Yes.
Oh, why did I leave those out?
Hey.
Okay.
I have to actually give it to Into the Spideyverse because it was. I've been waiting for Miles to get this love since I first saw him in the comic books. Like I actually remember, and I actually will talk about that in a second, of the fallout when we are introduced to black characters by the nerd community. Like you had a family dynamic, which is not seen too often. You actually had like a good family dynamic in that movie. I mean, like anybody with the title Spider-Man in it, you're gonna lose a family member. It's inevitable. Like the plight of being Spider-Man is that somebody you love gonna take that L. Like Spider-Man is a character that was literally designed to be a tragic character to make people relate to. And you ain't gonna be rich. So it was like I already knew somebody was gonna die in that movie. So it was, it was the young kid. It was him, actually a great origin story for him, almost accurate to the comic books, except for everybody kind of pulling up at one time with the different spiders and so on and so forth. And it had its own little black cultural references in there. Like if you notice, even my man was rocking J's. They had a Chance the Rapper poster in the room. He was embarrassed that his dad was a cop bringing him to school, and as somebody who's the son of a police officer, I'm just like, don't drop me off, man. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't need everybody knowing like my father was a cop. But I remember actually on the news when the Ultimate Universe, when Peter Parker was killed off, they were killing their character. They were killing off major characters like it wasn't anything, and they was like, okay, Peter Parker's dead. It was a big comic book event, like the death of Peter Parker, and they're like, and introducing the new Spider-Man, Miles, a Black and Puerto Rican, Afro-Latina young kid from Brooklyn, if I'm correct. And the amount of upset, butthurt little white children and grown men was hilarious. They were just like, "How can Spider-Man be Black in New York?" And like everybody knew from New York was like, they never seen like a Puerto Rican before. Like, really? Like, it's New York. Like, how did you even like come up with this? Like, no, that makes perfect sense. Like, it was that one. It was when a little bit after Barack Obama got in office, and they made Sam Wilson Captain America, which I think made him the third black man to be Captain America. There was a fallout from that one. When they killed Tony off temporarily and Riri Williams became Ironheart, a young black girl. I remember when Kevin, whatever the white dude is that run Marvel, they asked him how smart Shuri was, and he said Shuri is, T'Challa's sister, Shuri is smarter than Tony Stark. They got pissed about that one. It's like every time these companies do give us the limelight, there's a big I mean, nobody cares. Like Marvel definitely don't care about upset white people. I've been noticed that one. They just care about green faces. They don't care about anything else. It's like every time this happens, it's a humongous upset and fallout. And they're like, well, I don't understand why this, why that. And they even go back to what you originally said, like about combo characters and why it's so hard. There's a lot of people out there that don't want us to be great. Like they don't want to see that. Like I had to sit down and explain to somebody several times. Like I've seen Black Panther beat the Silver Surfer. I've seen him beat Iron Man. I've seen him beat Captain America. Like I've seen him beat up on plenty white superheroes and villains. And when I show people the comic book panel, I've seen people get literally upset. Like one of my favorite issues of Black Panther is an old one where he actually beats the crap out of the Ku Klux Klan. And like used to this day, you have some people like that doesn't make any rational sense. And it's like, why are you so upset seeing a black man win? Like, what is it about us winning, even if it's fictional, that drives y'all up this wall? Like, we might even like Icon, your favorite. When Icon was said, and they nerfed him and retconned him, when they said that Icon was equivalent to that of Superman, there was that whole shit show. They was like, no, I can't have. Literally, the dude's like, we can't have anybody be equal to Superman. I'm sitting here like, you're upset that a black man is equal to Superman, but you have absolutely no problem with, y'all gonna hate me for this, Batman having the potential to beat him. So the rich white guy beats up on Superman, nobody complains. But a brother's able to throw hands with him and everybody gets upset. Okay.
Well, you said the word Batman up. She been triggered. She been triggered. Man, I have no problems with Batman beating Superman as long as he got a glowing green rock.
Okay. All you gotta do is be smarter.
Man, but my man did make a good point about people being triggered about seeing us win. So give me 3 times that you saw someone look like you win in a fight and you were just like, God damn it, I'm proud.
Fictional or real life?
Fictional comic book world. The movie world, comic book world. Let's keep it to the comics though. Let's keep it to the comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't come to me.
I give you mine off the dome. Shout out to Black Madness. You know, I'm all about the villains over this, baby. Shout out to Destro and shout out to my favorite villain, Eobard Thawne.
Ooh.
The Black Flash. I'm sorry, that time in the CW verse when he picked Barry ass up, snatched him from the police station, snatched him to Star Labs, and shook him like a rag doll and was like, is this your hero now? I was just like, sorry, Lex Luthor, but I have a new hero now. Smoke?
I don't know. You got to come back to me.
Still thinking about it, still stirring?
Yeah.
That's the thing. I wasn't really too keen on comics like that to go deep down. I do know about Black Panther beating. I do know about Black Panther beating the KKK. I've seen that panel before, but not too big on a lot of those things where they specifically had a black superhero, like in the limelight, beating a big time white, villain or anything like that. It was always a side thing going on.
So I think I need to step out of comics, and my favorite time seeing a black person win was probably the end of Get Out when the TSA got pulled up. Like I didn't want to see that movie, but everybody online was like, TSA this, the TSA that. And all the TSA memes came out. I was like, I gotta go see that movie. And when the car pulled up, I was like, damn, he about to die. It's the cops. But it wasn't. It was his TSA homie. Yeah. That was probably my favorite time seeing.
What's his name in real life? I forget.
Lil Rel. Well,
yes.
Lil Rel.
You wasn't expecting that. So that's probably my favorite.
You don't want to
side.
see the alternate ending to that because it ended.
Yeah, that was rough.
He in the alternate ending, he went to jail.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Oh, I
Real
didn't know
shit.
that. They had a
Yeah, brother.
So mine would be if I got a top 3. So anytime Black Panther beat up on somebody, I'm just here for it. I seen him spar with Captain America. I would say the one that really, I'm trying to think of a good one that really got me was when he beat Iron Man in the comics. They done really gave this man T'Challa like the best resume when it comes to like a black superhero. Like he's wielded freaking Mjolnir one time or something like that. But when he beat Tony, I like that one because the message in that one, he literally said like, why is it so hard for you to accept that me and you are equals? Even though he's richer than Tony and is smarter than Tony, and I'll go into that later. To him, really, this like Tony didn't. It wasn't because one thing about Tony, it wasn't because T'Challa was black. It was because Tony didn't like anybody's tech being better than his, and he had to prove he had the best tech. And T'Challa was like, "Why do you care so much? What does it bother you that I got better tech than you?" And the message was literally just telling like, another rich white guy, why is it so bad that we winning? Number 2 was a crossover event that was extremely controversial. And they completely changed their character since then because of this fight, and nobody can convince me otherwise. When Wonder Woman hopped out there and fought Storm told her, "You ain't faster than lightning. You're stronger than me, but if you hop your ass up here, you're gonna get a lightning bolt." And she hit her with one, and Wonder Woman got back up, and she's like, "Stay down or else." And she's like, "I can't. It's in for me to fight." And Storm's like, "I respect that." Lightning bolt, and literally picked her up and gave her back to the Justice League. Like, here's your chick, dust her off. She should have known better. And number 1, even though it was a situation of them trying to help everything, Muhammad Ali versus Superman, and he dropped Superman.
And that did happen in the comics.
You can tell me nothing at that point. I'm like, I don't want to hear nothing else. The greatest of all time.
My next statement, let me slide on over here. Why does Batman get so much flack for being OP?
So it's not that he really is OP. It's that the issue, there's a lot of issues with Batman in general. And that is because DC Comics as a whole has focused so much their time and energy on him. Like how many people have played Batman?
14 at this point.
14. He's had at least several video games. He's had several cartoon shows and everything else. And he is a cash cow. I would never deny that factor. The problem is when you're now trying to build a vast universe, but you can't do that because everybody, even your own fandom, even the other DC fandom is saying like, "Oh, we need this." And the other issue is like, there's a lot of Batman stans that don't want to admit that he's still human. He can still get beat. Like you can say like, "Oh, if Batman has prep time, Batman has a plan." That's fine. Superman moves, and Superman can literally move almost as fast as the speed of light. If he decided to run him on Bruce can't do nothing. He's even said it. Like one of the best panels I ever read was where he actually told Superman all the Justice League weaknesses, and then he handed Superman a box. He said, in this box is my plan to defeat Wonder Woman. And Superman opens it, and he's like, "There's nothing in it." He's like, "You're right, because you got to fight her." He's like, "Wait, I just had a plan." He's like, "I don't have a plan for that woman. I can't do nothing to her. She's too overpowered. She can kill almost all of us. You're the only person on the planet that can save her. I can't win." You try to explain this to some of their fans, they get really defensive. They get very derogatory. They get very upset. My TikTok is filled with just people just calling me all types of obscenities because I said something about Batman. And the worst one for me was like when somebody asked me who would win between Batman and Black Panther. I said T'Challa been training since he was 4, since he could walk. He's been credited to be smarter. He has more money. In the most recent comic books, Wakanda has actually became a galactic empire, and he's the emperor of like several star systems. And I'm like, even if you're going to tell me in that, what is the Bat family going to do against an armada of ships? He could level Gotham if he wanted to. And the moment that I said that a black man could beat Batman, I got a lot of followers, but I got called everything, every form of primate, every insult you can think of, like, against Batman? No. And then it's the other issue is like, the man don't really solve the biggest issue that most people have with Batman, and even this is with me, is like, you're this vengeance, you're this dark individual, you're supposed to be on the same level of Wolverine and the Punisher. Wolverine and the Punisher would never have let Joker live this long. You're not about to tell me that after he done beat one of your kids with a crowbar, blew him up, kid come back shooting, and he's like, why you ain't kill the clown? He's like, oh, I can't kill him because, you know, that's wrong. And it's like, he's killed over like 52K people. Like, what? You don't put this man down? And it really just comes down to it. Like, one of the best panels that I remember reading one time, but Joker was just like, you won't let nobody else kill me. They won't kill you. In reality, is just watching one insane white person kill people and one rich white guy fight crime. Is this me? I'm just looking at two forms of white privilege having a field day.
Before we go over here, because I know you calm place. You're in a calm place.
I promise not to call him anymore.
Okay. Why do you think people feel that Batman is OP or too much? You're in a calm place. You're in a calm place.
You're in a calm place. Woosah.
I think for the same reason as you know, my man right here said that for one, he's attached to their nostalgia. You know, I think that because they didn't push anybody else, that when you think of DC Comics, you do think of Batman first and foremost. And it's like seeing your idol lose, you know what I mean? So you can't reconcile it. He is incredibly intelligent. He's an incredible fighter. But he is still human. If a number of superheroes or supervillains decided that, yeah, I'm about sick of this guy, I personally don't think that he's getting to whatever box he got around him fast enough. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, before you, I know you about to ball over. I'm in a calm place.
I want to hear her.
I'm gonna jump in real quick on in the middle. I'm gonna jump in the middle. I take both y'all point of views very serious. The reason people love Batman because he's the granddaddy of all. He's a normal human being like us, and he's on the level of freaking gods. You on the level of a dude who, one, can run faster than any human being on planet Earth. You got a dude who can fly, shoot laser beams out the eyes. You got a dude with the Green Lantern power ring. You got the dude who's the god of the ocean. And you got a woman who's an Amazon. And just for shits and giggles, you got a dude in the background with a bow and arrow. Don't forget about him. But the reason why people have a problem with Batman is because, let's all be honest, at any second, any one of these people could probably take him the hell out. And I agree with my man. Joker didn't raped that woman or Batgirl until she was in a wheelchair and she had to become the Oracle. He didn't damn near killed Jason Todd, and then he had to come back as Red Hood. He done killed and beat Commissioner Gordon so many times in the comic book. He done killed so many people. I'm sorry. If you're going to be a hero, you got to take out your main villain. You got to break his neck like my man did Zod on Man of Steel.
That was vicious too. That one caught me off guard. I didn't think Superman had it in the truth be told.
No part two for you, brother. Okay, you're at a calm place. Defend your boy.
So let's go back to the whole T'Challa versus Batman thing. Let's start there. Do I think that the Black Panther would beat Batman? Of course he would. Would he win? Of course not. Why? Because Batman has contingencies for everybody. We love Batman and we back Batman because he's human. You could be Batman. You could be Batman. You could be Batman. I'm not gonna get bit by a spider. If I get bit by a spider, my legs gonna swell. Maybe I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna go radioactive and get the slinging webs and stuff and saving people. That is realistically not going to happen, right? Batman is 100% realistic. Oh yeah, let's go back to the the box that he gave Superman for Wonder Woman, there's a comic book arc where he has something for all of them, right? He has something for each and every one of them. Oxygen for the Martian Manhunter. Like he has something for all of them in one of the comic book arcs. So we're not going to say he can't beat Wonder Woman because yes.
I know that arc, and I remember what he had from Wonder Woman, so I can respond back to you.
One of the comic books, she was fighting her, like literally fighting robots to death because she would not stop. So she kept on fighting to the point she was about to die.
Well,
so
there was a problem in that comic because the thing was, Batman said it's gonna go until she can't, and Superman actually was like, she can fight for 30 days straight, right? And he's like, yeah. So yeah, that works fine. The thing is with Wonder Woman in that situation, how many innocent lives literally is just turning her to destroy almost all human life? And about the whole thing with contingency plans, so does T'Challa. He has a plan. Literally, the only reason he joined the Avengers is because he did not trust them, and he already had a plan for each and every one of them before he stepped out there. So to say that, and not only that, and I always got to remind all my favorite black people who love Batman. No. White people can be Batman. You go ahead and wear that mask and they see that black face. I wonder how nice Commissioner Gordon and them going to be.
The money and the training. Anybody can be Batman.
Because police.
No.
Yeah. You can't be T'Challa. You can be T'Challa.
You ain't having no beef with Commissioner Gordon on the rooftop. That's why I'm like, when they say, why do Batman wear the little joint and you can see it says,
but they know he's white.
So the police can know you're white. Okay, hold on. You at a calm place. You're at a calm place.
This cannot be the white privilege conversation. He is human, right? He doesn't kill.
No, he shows that white face, so they know, like, hey, I'm a white guy. Chill. And Robin got his whole face out but some stutter shades. So they like, it's good. Jason was the hardest one. Jason was like, bump this. They ain't gonna know what I am. They can shoot at me all they want. I want them to.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay. Before we wrap this up, I got about 10 minutes and we got a lot of stuff to unpack. But first and foremost, I'm proud. Look at this room. We have changed the culture. Now, I noticed that everybody in this room is in pretty good, decent condition, and we not overweight or, don't look too nerdy. So how do you think, or how do you feel like you're helping to change the way people look at nerds now?
Looking at me, so I guess I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go first.
Okay. I think it's very healthy. I think I do get a kick out of. I used to kind of hide the fact that I'm a kind of big MCU stan. That I love the X-Men and used to watch these cartoons and stuff like that. I'm actually rewatching the X-Men cartoon right now. They expect you to look a certain way, I don't even want to typecast somebody, but we've all seen, who
I will.
they think that they look like.
Steve
You
Urkel.
want to say something?
Steve Urkel. So you gonna go there?
No. It's more of a that kind of dark goth kind of thing. You know what I mean? You don't get that. You don't see that really anymore. They look like us. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We had podcasts and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm.
We go to Comic Cons too. We dress up. And
Every year
do these kind of cosplays. I'm sorry, as well and or better as some of these people that have been going for 10, 20 years. So it's good to see. I'm looking forward to getting further into the culture, and I can, like I was telling him, I can sit here and talk about superheroes and go listen to some go to a go-go afterwards,
Right.
Same guy, same
Right.
flair and everything like that, but these people, are starting to kind of blend. So I'm excited for the future.
Hey, Batman, how do you think? You're a beautiful young lady, you're looking good, and you're helping to change the culture, and you got your own nerd group. That's how I met you. So how do you feel like you're changing the culture?
I definitely think it might be a little easier for you guys, but it definitely isn't always the easiest for me. Because like I said earlier, people assume that when I'm in these nerd groups and I'm talking about stuff that I love and comic books that I've actually read and shows or movies that I've actually watched, people tend to think that I'm doing it for attention. So it isn't always the easiest for me. And people that look like me, all like the extra features and stuff. But it is definitely coming along to a point where people consider us, we're nerds too, right? It's like what's that Mike Jones song? Back then they didn't want me, now
They
They
all
all
on
on
me.
me.
right now, right? That's what Blade did for us. That's what Black Panther did for us.
Yeah.
I remember when that movie first came out, and I was watching some show that I don't really watch a lot of reality TV, but it was some show that was kind of interviewing people in Asia, and they were saying that that was like their real first look at Black people not being criminals or maids or slaves or any of that stuff, right? It totally changed their view of Black America, being able to see Black Panther. So I just love where we're going, and I can't wait till everybody.
See it 20 years down the road.
Yes.
Brother Smoke, how do you think we changing the culture, baby?
Oh, we're making the move. But I hate that we had to wait till Chadwick died to really make a movement. Because that's what's really happening. Really, because he was already Black Panther and it sold out. And we represented before he died. But now they're trying to blow it up. I'm like, where was y'all at a couple of years ago? So it's moving to the right direction. Some people, up and down, but the other cultures is understanding you can look like whatever the hell you want to look like and be into whatever you into. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm into watching Saved by the Bell. When I leave here, I'm gonna watch Saved by the Bell.
You need to watch.
But you want to think
you want to watch
you know?
something interesting? Watch this YouTube channel called Zach Morris is Trash.
I've seen that.
It is hilariously funny.
No, but I'm saying I'm part of that. But you wouldn't think I'd be into it like that.
Bro,
so I'm just saying, I never judge a book by its cover. That's more of it. Honestly,
good guess, good sir. How do you think we're changing the culture?
Well, I also like a lot of anime, and you see me in the gym, how I dress. I don't give a damn. Like, I think the one thing we stopped doing as nerds is like really stop caring what most people think about us. Once that happened, it was just like we just went ahead to BS. I think it is not only that we're now seeing more Black celebrities be open about it. Like I told someone before, there was technically years now, showing my age, but 15 years ago, maybe 15, 18 years ago, the mere fact you had a rapper like Meg Thee Stallion on the cover of a magazine dressed as like an anime character, Todoroki. She did that. Michael B. Jordan openly talking about like, dog, I love anime. Like Killmonger's armor was based off of Cheetah. Like he was like, I really based my whole upper stuff from like Vegeta. Like he openly admits he likes anime and clearly he likes comic books. So we have that. We have more people more comfortable with it. We've always had. It was there, but it was always in many shapes and forms. Like I told everybody before, Wu-Tang was nothing more than a group of Black nerds. They just all could rap and they would beat the crap out of you if you really hopped out there. So like it's been there, but I think now it's just that everybody is just being more comfortable with it and it's being themselves, and social media made it easy to find, because it was like, years ago to try to find somebody that try to find a Black person like anything besides Dragon Ball Z as an example, or even like Spider-Man and stuff, it was like far and in between. But then one day you look up, you're on Twitter scrolling, you're like, oh, this brother, he like comic books too. I'm gonna follow him. And then like 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and it just goes like that more and more and more until we have a whole community as such. And for Black women especially, their voices have definitely been loud, because like when they really started doing the cosplay thing, they killed it. Like I to this day tell everybody, I don't think there are better cosplayers than Black women, because between the makeup and the hair and the things we can do as us with our hair, the mere fact as us as Black folk, we can literally, even though cosplay is a whole other community that sometimes can get toxic, Black women can just, between the makeup tutorials and everything else, literally kill it. And the mere fact we as Black folk come in so many different shades, this could lead us to doing an array of characters that other groups of people can't even hope to do. And there's that whole thing. So I think now we're just at a point where it's I'm not gonna say it's popping because it's cool. You know what? I'm going to say this, and I really am using anime here as a reference. Until black people put, as they're like everything in this country, until black people put their stamp on something that's cool, nobody else wants to accept it. Because there were plenty of comic book geeks, anime geeks going around, and even amongst the white community and stuff, they were still outcasts. It wasn't until black kids were just like, nah, that's cool, and I'm going to rock it, and I don't care what anybody say about it. Did you start seeing everybody else be like, oh, we all think this is cool now? Literally, when we signed off on it, then it got popping. So when we start opening up about it, then the world accepted it.
Right. Well, I'm running out of time, but real quick, give them your IG info, wherever you want people to find you.
Yeah, I did introduce myself, but you know, I'm clean in the streets, so I don't mind giving my government. My name is John Benjamin, and you can find me nowhere right now because I'm taking a social media break.
Hey, we all need a mental health break.
And the nerdosphere, the blurdosphere, I'm probably in the community in the comments right along with you. So you know, peace to all.
Batman, where can we find you at?
At dmvpropertydiva on IG is the best place to find me.
Brother Smoke, where can they find you at?
DJ Smoke _ENT.
Good brother, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Shango, SHANGO.Sims, SIMMS, or Shango Sims, one word, on TikTok.
All right. In closing, it's only right I give this quote. It's my favorite quote in the whole wide world. Without order, there's only chaos. Hell Hydra. You can find me at Unpack Radio all over the place. And we're going to be bringing up another beautiful young lady shortly, Miss Tiffany. And we're going to talk about the world of real estate. We're going to talk about the world of IG. We're going to talk about a few other things. And always remember, it's cool to be a nerd, baby. And brother, stop throwing those headphones at goals too, man. Stop throwing your headphones at goals. All right, see y'all next time on Unpack Radio. Salute!
Thank y'all, man. Appreciate it.